2, 1.
Hi everyone, welcome to another live QiGong. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. As usual, we'll do our usual warm-up before we start the practice. So as usual, you'll just need enough space around you to be able to swing your arms, and that's pretty much it. For those that prefer to be seated, we can adapt it as well to accommodate for sitting there. So just take a few nice deep breaths in your body. Just notice how you're feeling. Just breathing into all 4 sides of your torso. So we'll make a start just warming up the wrists. So just making a nice figure of 8 with the wrists. It's like drawing an infinity in front of your body. And the opposite way, get a nice flex on your fingers. Lovely. We'll open up the side of the elbows. Just making some nice circles. And again, just still flexing them fingers. Getting the circulation going, just telling the body we're going to do some gentle movement. And then we'll warm up our shoulders. So taking the backs of the palms facing forward. And then we're just going to bring with the upper arm, bringing the shoulders round. So the hands, the lower arm follow the upper arm movement. So the shoulder goes forward, round to the sides and the back. Nice open chest. You can have a few sighs here if that helps. Just release tension can be carried in the shoulders, tightness. And then taking the backs of the palms, pushing backwards and bringing the shoulders round with the upper arm. That's it. Have a bit of movement in the spine as well. Let your body move as it needs to. Okay, so next we're going to warm up the neck. So I always say, you know your body better than anyone. The neck can move in 3 ways, so find what feels good for you. Always noticing like a line of tension between the crown and the tailbone. So a gentle lift in the crown can just give you a nice bit of support in the neck as we're just going to turn and look to the right, center and left, center and right, center and left. That's it. So we'll come back to the hips when we do. We're going to introduce a new one today, tray of teacups. So we'll go straight down, just a gentle bend in the knees, just warm up the legs a little bit, just taking the tailbone down and up again, just letting the legs know we're going to do a bit of movement. Bring the knees together, just some gentle circles with the knees. And the other way, always being careful with your joints. Got quite sensitive knees, so I go quite gentle on these. And then just taking the feet to kind of slightly wider, shoulder width, slightly wider than hip width. Okay, our standard Qigong stance. So we'll just warm up the spine. So we will start with knocking on the door of life. So for this one, you'll need your arms to be able to swing behind you. If you sit in this one, it's a little bit harder. So you might just want to do a gentle spinal twist where you're just turning and looking over your shoulder. So for those that are standing, you're just going to turn and just start with a turn in your waist. Imagine turning from the waist and the arms are moving. Then you're just going to bring a gentle lift in the arms. So they gently knock on the lower back, but they're only knocking either side of the spine, never directly on it. And then you can enhance the stretch by turning and looking behind you. Find your own pace, your own rhythm. Flexing the spine to open it up in ways we don't often in every day. And then bring the neck to center, but just keep making the movement with your lower body. So your neck's fixed in space. And that can just open a little bit more into the side body. And we're slowing it down, slowing it down. Lovely. And now for some spinal cord breathing. So bring the arms up. Nice big breath in, bring the arms to the shoulders, and then we're going to breathe out and we're going to round and arch the spine and bringing the elbows to touch at the front. So imagine like cat-cow in yoga. If you do yoga, so you really open up the chest, arching, and then rounding. Just opening up the front and back of the spine. Breathing in to open if you'd like. And breathing out to bring the arms round. And you can always reverse the breath if you want to open more of your back body. Gentle tuck of the tailbone. Nice open of the top of the chest. One more. And this one, those that have tried the Qigong to sleep, is a great one for doing to wind down before bed. It takes the body to the parasympathetic system. So helps get it out of fight, flight, and stress and ready for relaxation. So finally, we're going to do, to wake up the spine, we're going to do picking cherries. So imagine you've got one arm lifted up and one arm down at shoulder level. And what we're trying to do is the arm lifted, we're keeping the hip of that side pulled down. So we're just emphasizing a bit of a stretch in the side body. And this one also creates a bit of extra space in the vertebrae in the spine. A bit more space in the fascia. This one doesn't have to be with the breath. Lovely. Now we'll do one more that's going to be cleansing, ready for the new year, last of the month. So for those of you that are seated, we'll do the tiger claws one, and you can just go up from your kind of torso, your abdomen, and pulling up. So those that are standing can take the legs slightly wider than shoulder width to a comfortable stance. And what we're going to do is take our hands and curl in the fingers. So it's almost like bringing your first digit in to touch your last digit in the knuckle joint there. So what we're going to do, this one's dredging the channel. So imagine you're going through a drain pipe and you're clearing out the leaves. So we're going to start down in a squat and we're going to breathe in, lifting up and out. Breathing out to go down. Breathing in to lift and out. And you can just breathe to the back of your throat just to make it audible so you can hear the breath. It doesn't have to be loud, just to help you become more aware of the breath. Imagine raking out the leaves of last year, any residual. Ready for the new year. And then for this next one, for those that are standing, you might want to go down and just open up the hips slightly. Keeping a nice lift in the spine. Just to get a gentle warm up of the lower legs and back up again. Slight open of the hips. So this one is our new one. Tray of teacups. This might be more challenging to do if you're seated. So just try and adjust and make it work for you. This one's just to open up the hips. So palms start facing the forehead, just above the head. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the arms in a figure of 8 movement. So they start facing your forehead, then they're facing outward in the middle, and then they face your belly. So we're doing a nice figure of 8. So facing the forehead, fingers facing out, fingers facing the belly. And we'll add the hips. So your hips will be behind you when the arms are in front, so it's got space for your arms to sweep around. And when you're up, your hips will be forward. So just making some nice circles in the hips. Trying to imagine your hands have got teacups on them. It's called tray of teacups. So you try not to spill the tea. So you get a bit of a turn in the wrists as well. Nice opening in the waist and the lower body. And on the next one, when you get to the top, stop and go the opposite way. So start, so the fingers are facing forehead in front of you and back to the belly. And when you next get to the top, we're then going to take our arms to the sides and push slightly down. Imagine you're trying to push into the corners of the room. So the bottom 2 corners of the room with your palms. And then you're just going to have a slight lift in the crown and take your neck gently to one side. And you're imagining a line of tension between the crown of your head and the tips of the opposite finger. And that's just going to provide some support and an extra line of stretch to take any tension out of the side of the neck, the top of the shoulder, all the way down the arm. Always being careful with your neck. Lifting the crown to try and avoid crunching. And then bringing the chin to the chest to roll over to the other side. So it spreads its feathers. This one's a good one to do if you've been using computers or mobile phones in the modern world. Just to release those lines of tension. Lovely. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more open now. So we'll shake the tree before we go into our flowing movements. So for this one, you're just literally bouncing. You might want to keep your heels to the floor or just gently lift and bang your heels on the floor. Just gently lifting from the tailbone, and we're letting the whole body shake. This one's called Shake the Tree. Imagine you've got apples on the tree and you're just shaking them loose, shaking off the leaves. And sighing with a loud audible. They've shown there was a study where they tried different types of yogic breathing, box breathing and things, and the one they found most effective for relieving stress and tension in the body was an audible sigh. Science meeting ancient Chinese medicine. Making sure you get a nice flick on the wrist, loosening off. Imagine flicking right out of the fingers. If you notice any areas of tension or tightness in your body, just imagine breathing into that place and breathing out and scattering that through your fingertips. Just freeing the body of any tension. And the more gently you do this, the longer your body can sustain it. This is one I tend to do every morning for at least a minute or two, just until the body feels a little bit more enlivened, a bit looser, free of any kinks from the night. And again before bed. Lovely, so we can just slow it down. Just bringing the arms to the sides and just notice how your body feels. So gently lowering the eyelids and breathing into the abdomen. Just notice how your body feels. I often feel kind of spaciousness, almost tingly, electricity like. My body feels more open. And starting in our Wuji posture. So for this one, we've got our legs shoulder width apart. We've got a slight lift in the crown, slight tuck of the chin. We've got our spine nice and straight. We've got our arms in front of us as if we were holding a container, just holding the arms in front of us gently. And breathing into the lower abdomen. Just noticing where your breath lands in the abdomen. Really feeling that lift of the crown. Feeling your shoulders drop and relax. Noticing where that breath lands. Imagine a zipping up of the front of the body so the core muscles are slightly activated to help balance the body. Zipping up at the hips. And like last week, we're just going to hold this stance for a minute and a half. We've built up to now. And this stance just helps to build awareness and energy in the body before we start to circulate and move it through. If you want to feel more enlivened, you can rock your feet gently. Whole body stays in the posture, just to the balls of your feet. And that's there's an acupressure there as well. And that's there to help the energy to rise up through the body. Nice one to do at the start of the day to enliven your day. Still noticing where your breath lands in the abdomen, nearly there. Noticing how your body feels. It's this notion of effortless effort. The more you practice, the more effortless this stance becomes, as if someone's holding you by a marionette string from the crown of your head. As we go on to our first movement, which is compressing the pearl. So the hands are just as if they're in line with the pelvis. And we're going to take the arms up to the sides. And back to the abdomen as if we're pumping a bellows. So like lifting the body. Slight bend in the knees. Slightly widening the fingers and the palms just to bring a bit more awareness to the palms, so that when you're bringing them arms down, it's like bringing a ball tighter and tighter in front of you, compressing the pearl. And with the breath and the next movement, so we breathe in to lift and breathe out to condense. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in with your own body. A couple more times. Once more. Just Gently relaxing, arms at the sides, deep breath in the abdomen before we go on to the next movement, flying hands. So for this one, we trace up to the sternum, take our arms out to shoulder width apart, and sinking down. Up the sternum, arms go out to full extension at shoulder height, wrist turn and down. Wrists out, turn and down. With the breath, so we breathe in to lift to chest height, and then we imagine that the wrists are pushing the arms forward, and then we turn at the wrist to bring the hands to parallel and breathe out to go down. And turn in Qigong, we repeat the movements to help the body come to a state of presence and relaxation, and to allow the energy, the circulation to just move through the body, building and cycling. Final time. And bringing the arms to the sides, relaxing the shoulders and noticing how you feel before we move into opening the chest. So for this one, the palms are facing the floor at kind of hip level. You breathe in, the arms will go up to the sides and down. Breathing in and out. If you're at any point you find it hard to hold the stance, you can always just give your legs a shake. Over time, it gets easier. Your body finds its natural strong stance and foundation. You can even convert to seated during a practice. And the point of Qigong is not to master the Qigong movements, but it's to just become more aware of your own body and to find what feels good. So just focusing on what helps you stay present and relaxed. Opening the chest, arms at the sides, and then we breathe out to take the arms down and face the floor. So imagine connecting to the earth, connecting to the heavens, if you like, or the skies, and back to the earth. Bring us a nice sense of balance. You can stay in the tips of your toes the whole time for this one. The balls of your feet, if that feels more energizing. And bringing the arms back to the sides before we move on to swimming dragon. So this one is the elevator. So we've got our arms in front of our chest. I'm going to take one arm up and one arm down, palms facing the ceiling and the floor. We're imagining that middle finger as a key in a lock. We're going to turn that lock and bring the elevators back down. The elevators have passed, and this one's to just bring a nice stretch into the spine. So for this one, the arms aren't fully extended to discomfort, but they're slightly out in front. Palms facing parallel, turning the key in the lock. And push. Maintaining that lift in the crown. And this time with the breath and the next movement. So as we turn the key, we breathe in. When the arms meet, we breathe out. Turn the key and breathe in. Push, breathing out. Final time, breathing in and breathing out. Lovely. So bringing the arms back to the sides, noticing how we feel. For our final of the flow, which is swimming bear. So we're welcoming in still that New Year energy and inspiration. So this one's a bit like breaststroke. Opening up the chest. Arms come behind us and breathing out. So breathing in, like breaststroke, arms go around to the sides, and breathing out, palms facing up. It's like lift, open that chest, and breathing out. So this one's good when you're needing a bit of inspiration, feeling a bit blocked and need some new ideas, literally to be inspired. The breath, one of the ways we invite the new into our body every day, every minute. And you can imagine as you breathe out, exhaling anything you no longer need, making space for the new as you breathe in. Last time. Bringing it into the chest. Arms just at the sides or in front of the abdomen, just noticing how you feel. Breathing nice and deep into the lower abdomen. Before we draw down the heavens, so bringing the arms up at the sides, over the head, and imagine purple light washing through your whole body, violet or purple, scanning through the whole body with the breath. So breathe in, take them arms up together, that purple light, and then breathing out, slowing the breath slightly. Just to imagine it scanning through the body, clearing any other tension or tightness and bringing in whatever quality of energy you most need. Two more times. Final time. And this time we bring our thumb and our forefingers to lock before bringing our palms over the abdomen. And again, back in that Wuji posture, so we're making sure our chin's tucked, crown's lifted, shoulders are nice and relaxed, zipping up the front body, slight tuck of the tailbone, like dipping the tailbone down to the floor. Breathing into the abdomen, just noticing how the body feels compared to when we started. Bringing the feet together. Bamboo sways in the wind, so a gentle bend in the knees. And imagine a marionette string is lifting the crown of your head up, so you're just standing effortlessly now. Like bamboo, just gently swaying in the wind, letting your body move how it wants to integrate that energy, that movement through the body. Letting itself settle again. Breathing deep into the abdomen. All four sides of the torso. Imagining a ball of white light in the lower abdomen and breathing into that place. In Chinese medicine, they call this the lower dantian, and that's where we store the energy, the life force that supports our bodily energy. So just focusing on that place for a couple of nice final deep breaths. And then bringing the legs to shoulder width apart again. I'm just going to gently circle the large intestine, the abdomen. And this one you won't be mirroring me, I'll be doing my intestine, so up the right side of the body, across and down the left. I'm just helping to bring some awareness, some relaxation through the abdomen, those key organs. And imagining like a ball, just winding it smaller and smaller circles. Smaller and smaller. A final deep breath. And release with an audible sigh. Namaste. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Remember, if this has been helpful, to like and subscribe so that other people can benefit from this practice. If you feel to share, take care, and we'll see you next week. All the best.